Welcome to Grad Guidance, career tips and tools for graduate students. I'm your host, Allie Irk, Associate Director of Graduate Student Career Development at Lehigh University.
In this episode, we'll be discussing networking on campus, featuring Jimmy Hamill, a PhD candidate in the College of Arts and Sciences in the English department.
Welcome to Grad Guidance. I'm Allie Irk. Today, our guest is Jimmy Hamill, who will be talking about networking on campus. Welcome, Jimmy.
Hi, Ellie. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be able to talk with you today.
Well, thanks so much for taking time to be here. So throughout your time at Lehigh, there's many opportunities to build connections both within and outside of your academic discipline. So I'm really excited to talk about this topic. So Jimmy, I was wondering if you could give an introduction about yourself, and then also share your experience and tips for networking on campus.
Absolutely. So hi, folks. My name is Jimmy Hamill. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm a doctoral candidate in English in the College of Arts and Sciences here at Lehigh. I also did my master's here at Lehigh, so I've been here a long time. I've had a lot of opportunities to be able to network on campus, and I'm really excited to be able to talk a little bit about 3 or 4 main tips that I have kind of learned looking back at my networking experiences on campus to make the most out of your time in grad school, whether it's in a 1-year master's program or in a 5 to 7-year doctoral program. I think these tips are pretty applicable across the board. And so I'm really excited to be able to share. And as I've reflected a little bit on all of the different experiences I've been really fortunate to have at Lehigh, one of the first things that I started thinking about was whenever you want to network on campus, whether it's in a more informal context or a more formal context, you want to have a clear why, right? You want to understand what is your purpose for wanting to network on a campus space. Are you just looking to build friends and community in your own department? Are you hoping to work with a particular faculty member and do research with them? Are you looking to get a graduate assistantship, right, in another office on campus that you have no connection to? I think it's really important that wherever you are at Lehigh, you want to start with that why, and that'll help you figure out the how of making that networking possible. So the one example I always offer is a couple of years ago, I was fortunate to take a one credit course with Barry Kroll in the English department, talking about working at 2-year colleges. So I took this course kind of on a whim. It was just kind of fun, something for me to do, sort of fill in a couple credits I needed. But as I started taking the course, I realized really quickly, oh, wow, I could see myself teaching at a 2-year college or a community college. I want to talk to other people on campus or maybe around the area who have done similar work. So I started simply by networking with my professor, Barry Kroll, and asked him, who do you know who's doing this right now? And Barry was able to connect me with current students in the department that I didn't even know were studying in the department, right? Because they were working full time. And so they weren't on campus physically as much, but they were still a part of our community. Those conversations allowed me to then network with other people outside of my immediate department to learn more about what is it to teach at a 2-year college. And it became this situation where not only did I gain people who were able to help me professionalize a little bit more, but they were also folks that ended up becoming friends, right? People that I run into at Lit, right, over on 3rd Street. We'll sit and grab coffee and chat and catch up. But it all started with having a curiosity. And my curiosity was, I want to know more about this 2-year college thing. So let's see what happens there. So I think it's really important to have a clear why. And that why will really help you figure out the how down the road. And I think that leads me to my next point, which is when you're networking, less is more. And I'm really bad at this. So I'm someone that wants to have my hand in like thousands of things at once. I think like the more I do, the better off I'll be. But as I look back on the most effective networking opportunities on campus for myself, I realized the most sustainable options were the ones where I really went deep into 1 or 2 connections rather than trying to cast the net wide to, hundreds of different connections and feeling overwhelmed. So the example that I always offer here is thinking about the time that I had working as the graduate assistant at our Pride Center. I, in my master's program, had studied under Dr. Mary Foltz in the English department. She was kind of my first mentor here at Lehigh. And I knew I wanted to do something with LGBTQ plus people, literature, but I wanted to get some experience outside of theory and research. And so I heard about the Pride Center that was developing at Lehigh. I tried to apply for the job the first time around and it didn't work out. And that's okay, right? Sometimes we try things and connections don't work, but I kept focused on that opportunity. So I kept in contact with my mentor, and I actually ended up attending an event with my mentor that she was running, where folks from the Pride Center were actually attending the event as well. And so it allowed me to build these authentic connections with people outside of the context of any formal job interview. And they encouraged me to reapply for the job because the graduate assistant was wrapping up their tenure at the time. So it was starting with one interest, right, which was working at the Pride Center. And that led me into a whole new world at Lehigh. If it wasn't for the Pride Center, Ali, you and I probably never would have connected, because I only got connected to the Graduate Student Senate and the work that you are all doing, right, in career services because of my work in the GSS. I never would have had that if I wasn't the grad assistant at the Pride Center, because at the time I was simply going as a representative for our graduate LGBTQ plus group. So one thing led to another, right? I didn't go into any opportunity with the idea, all right, I'm going to go to the Pride Center to get this, to get this, to get this. Focusing on one thing that I was interested in then allowed my entire network to open up. And once I was at the Graduate Student Senate, I was able to develop some really great professional skills through the e-board on GSS. And I actually have some really close friendships because of that experience, folks that I'm now going to be going to their wedding next year, right? All of these things opened up, but it required me to focus my attention and really go deep into something that was super exciting for me. So as folks are thinking about, there's so many options, what do I do? Start with the thing that you're most curious about. You'd be surprised how much can open up on campus just from one channel or network. I think the third thing that I might recommend to students is thinking about also, what can you offer in a networking dynamic when you're building relationships on campus? So I think often we talk about networking as let's build this relationship so that I can get something out of it. But you have to remember, it's a relationship, right? It's a give and take. You want to build authentic human connections, right? One, because I think they're more fun overall, but two, because you want to recognize someone is going out of their way to potentially help you with a vision or a goal in your own mind. So you want to be thoughtful about how can you also offer something back, right? As you're getting to network and find different connections on campus. So whenever I've had faculty members either in my department or beyond my department who I've asked questions about, maybe in terms of my doctoral exams or getting an opportunity to work on a research grant, or simply asking more questions about what do you do after you finish a PhD? One of the questions I always like to ask towards the end of the conversation is there anything going on in your world that I should know about that I can help you with, right? Are there events going on campus? Are there things happening that I can advertise to other grad students? Are there research opportunities coming up where you might need someone for the summer to do something? The answer might be no, but I think it's a really good sign of faith as you're networking with folks to make sure that you are also thinking about what you can bring to the table. And I say this because that's actually another networking opportunity, right? When you ask, what can you provide to someone? There might be a whole new, wealth of opportunities, connections that you don't even know about yet. And it's just by making that kind gesture to say, hey, we're in relationship together, so I want to make sure that this feels helpful for both of us. It can be a really, really powerful thing. And I think the last thing that I would offer for Lehigh students is thinking too about the fact that networking is not always a formal experience. What I mean by that is, for me at least, I sometimes hear the word networking and I cringe a little bit because I think, oh, it's so corporate, it's so formal. But what I realize is networking is just about building connections, right? So whether I'm reaching out to a faculty member to formally ask about a research opportunity, or I'm simply going to an event and getting to know people or having casual conversations with my colleagues in the hallways, right? All of these opportunities are networking. So all in all, I would also say just have fun with it, right? What's so great about being at a place like Lehigh and being in grad school more broadly is all of these connections are built into the network of our environment. We will never get this opportunity again in the same way to so easily be surrounded by so many different kinds of people with life experiences. So whether you're going to be here for a 1 year's master's program or you're going to be here for a longer doctoral program, take advantage of the things that are built into this network, because it really can open up some incredible relationships and opportunities for you down the road.
That's awesome. I appreciate all of the wonderful insights you just shared. I like the, curiosity, start with a focus. I think it's especially important for grad students because grad students are very busy. So having a focus, and I love that you gave the example of, attending an event, right? And from that event led to so many future connections and opportunities that you might have not even imagined. So I really appreciate all that you shared. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Ellie. It's so wonderful to talk about this. And I'll let folks know, again, my name is Jimmy Hamill. You can find my email right on the English department website. If anyone does have more questions about my networking experiences, I'd be happy to talk with folks. Again, network across campus, right? I love talking about my own experiences, what I learned along the way, the mistakes I made. So if folks really do have any questions, I really encourage them, find my info on the English department website. I'd be happy to talk with people more.
I appreciate that so much. I think your evidence of the Lehigh community is so supportive and truly does support one another. And so I think it is an amazing opportunity during your time here at Lehigh to take advantage of all that you can. So if you would like additional support, we have lots of resources to support you as you clarify your career goals and you think about what networking opportunities might be of interest to you. So you can certainly use our resources, and we appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Here are some tips for networking on campus. Identify your purpose for networking to inform your action steps. Recognize how to leverage existing connections to build new connections. Approach networking opportunities with curiosity. Focus on your interest areas to explore ways to make key connections. Get involved in campus organizations and attend events. Consider your contributions to the networking relationship to develop authentic connections. Look for informal opportunities to network in your daily activities. Be intentional with making time to foster relationships.